welcome to Success Habits, everybody. I'm super excited to be here tonight, and I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to connect with each of you guys. So we've got about 40 people who are signed up and registered for the event tonight. So I'll maybe just give people a couple more minutes to kind of find the room and get settled. And maybe in the meantime, if you guys don't mind, maybe pop a note in the chat and let us know where you're joining us from tonight. That'd be awesome. I'm always interested to see kind of where everybody's from and where people are at. Well, I mean, we've got a couple of Saskatoon people, don't we? Awesome. Right on. And Souk, BC. Whoop, whoop. Right on. Saskatoon. Perfect. Awesome. Well, yeah, beautiful. Well, I was going to say, over the years, we've found the people who have their cameras on and engage with the material ultimately get more out of this experience. And because of that, they end up getting better results. But I see everybody's got their cameras on so far. So I give you guys a lot of credit. Full props for showing up tonight. It's awesome. The other thing is, if you guys have a pen and a paper handy, you guys would probably want to grab that and keep that nearby. We're going to be covering a fair amount of ground tonight. And trust me when I say you're probably going to want to take some notes, okay? One of my mentors said a long time ago, he said that if it's worth remembering, it's worth writing down. And I found that to be really true over the years. So, well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Matthew Jacob Jodouin. I'm a certified mentor and mindset coach. And my job is to help people just like you take your thoughts, your goals, and your dreams and turn it into reality. I help people create a life with less stress, less worry, less self-doubt, and create a life with more money, more fulfillment, more free time. Sounds awesome, doesn't it? And just out of curiosity, by a show of hands here, who would like a life with less stress and less worry? Yeah, a few people for sure, eh? Two hands up, that's right. Well, who here would like a life with more money and more fulfillment and possibly more free time or more fun? Totally, right? Well, tonight I'm going to show you how you can start to do exactly that, okay? And at the end, I actually have a little secret that I want to share with you. So make sure you stick it through to the end, okay? Cool. Well, it's really funny that in preparation for tonight's call, I was reminiscing, okay? And I was reflecting on kind of where I was and how far I've come and where I am today, okay? And I had to laugh to myself because, to be honest with you, it wasn't all that long ago that I was completely and utterly unqualified to lead a workshop on anything, never mind a workshop about success. Okay. And like I say that because in 2009, I was overweight. I was out of shape. I was fresh out of a long-term relationship. I was flat broke. I was in a dead end job. And to be honest with you, I was drinking and doing drugs on the daily. Okay. And all of that changed on one fateful day when I saw a photograph of myself. Okay. When I saw this photograph of myself, I'll tell you, it was like a punch to the gut. And I say that because, like, when I saw that picture of myself, I didn't even recognize the person looking back at me. Okay. That's the truth. Like, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I was ashamed at who I had let myself become. Okay. And it was right then and there that I drew a line in the sand and I vowed to make some changes. Okay. I decided in that moment that I was not going to continue to live that way any longer. Okay. And now don't get me wrong, like at first change was slow and progress was small and that sort of thing. But it was shortly after that that I found a mentor, somebody who taught me what I needed to know and taught me what I needed to do in order to get better results in life. Okay. Now, as I stand here in front of you tonight, like my life looks completely different. Okay. I'm married to an amazing woman. Okay. We've got two awesome little boys. Okay. I get to do what I love every day. I'm working less and earning more than I ever have. And I'm arguably like in the best shape of my life. Okay. Not only that, like we just recently moved to our dream home on Vancouver Island. All right. Like I still have to pinch myself sometimes. I can't believe that this is reality. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong here. Like, I'm not sharing this with you to impress you. Okay. I want to be really clear about that. I'm sharing this with you to impress upon you what's possible. Okay. And I know that there's nothing that's like unique or special about me. I know that if this stuff worked for me, this stuff will absolutely work for anybody. Okay. That's the truth. Right. So tonight, we're going to start talking about success habits, right? And the habits that lead to success. But if we're going to have a conversation about that, we should probably have some discussion about success itself, don't you think? So if you got that pen and paper handy here, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take a second and at the top of a blank sheet of paper, I'd like you to write the word success. Okay. And I want you to ask yourself, what does this word mean to me? What does success mean to me? Okay. Would anybody care to share their answer or what came up for them? Maybe even just unmute yourself. You can throw it out there, Mitch.
Hey guys. Yeah, I wrote down success for me means happiness and financial wealth.
Happiness and financial wealth. Okay, right on. I like it. Yeah. Amy? Thanks, Mitch.
Yeah, I said unconditionally happy and being able to focus more on things that I actually value instead of just needing to get things done to get them done.
Right. Instead of just kind of like the never ending to-do list, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Thanks, Amy. Desmond.
Yes, I got having what you want in life and out of life.
Okay, having what you want in life and getting what you want out of life. I like that. It's cool. It's very poetic, Desmond. That's smart. I like it. That's awesome. Well, here's the thing. Yeah, Linda, you do want to share. Okay, perfect.
Just really short. Living optimally, eating healthfully, facing each day with an optimistic attitude.
I love it. Kind of got your bases covered there, hey? I like it though. Right on. Thanks, Linda. Yeah. Well, here's the thing is that different people have different ideas and definitions of what success means to them, depending on who you ask, you know? Now, some people, they think that they're successful if they earn a lot of money, and in some cases, maybe that's true. But I'll tell you, I know some people who earn a lot of money, okay, but they're miserable, or they earn a lot of money, but they're like stressed all the time. And they short-tempered with their family and their kids, their spouse. And like, to me, that doesn't strike me as success. You know what I mean? On the other hand, some people, I'll ask them, well, what does success mean to you? And they have no idea what that word means to them. And they've never even really spent much time thinking about it. And I think that's really interesting. And I usually ask them, well, what the heck are you working so hard for then? You know? Now, the best definition of success that I've ever come across is by a mentor of mine named Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale, he says that a successful person is a person who knows where they are, who knows where they want to go, and is making steady progress towards a worthy ideal. Okay, I'll say that again. Somebody who knows where they are, somebody who knows where they want to go, and is making steady progress towards a worthy ideal. And I'll tell you, I just love that definition of success. And the reason I love that definition is because that means to me that you don't necessarily even have to have achieved your goal just yet, but as long as you're making progress towards it, you can feel successful. You know what I mean? And the truth is that as long as you're making progress in life towards the things that are important to you, you know, you're going to be filled with a sense of fulfillment, joy, accomplishment, you know, maybe pride. You know, it's very rewarding, isn't it? You know, in fact, Tony Robbins has a line where he says that progress equals happiness. And I think that that just encapsulates that whole concept so eloquently. Okay. In fact, I think that if you're not making progress in life, okay, if you're not learning, if you're not growing, if you're not trying new things, that's probably when you're going to feel like you're like stuck in a rut, or like you're on the hamster wheel of life, and maybe you're working really hard, but you don't really feel like you're getting anywhere. You know what I mean? So I think that that definition is, I just love it. Okay. And if we use that definition of success, okay, we need to know two things. We need to know, well, one, where we are, okay, but two, where do we want to go? Okay. Now, every journey begins with a fundamental question, which is, where am I going? And that leads me to success habit number one. Okay. Success habit number one is goals. Successful people have them, and unsuccessful people don't. Okay. Goals. More specifically, clearly defined goals. Clearly defined goals. Okay. Now, statistically speaking, most people don't have goals. Okay. In fact, only about 2% of people actually have a goal. Okay. Most people just have wants. What do they want? Well, they want the very same things that you and I want. You know, they want to be happier. They want to lose a couple pounds. They want to earn a little bit more money. Okay. They want more free time, that sort of thing. All right. But those aren't wants, or sorry, those aren't goals. Those are just wants. And everybody wants those things. You know what I mean? But a goal is something different. A goal is something that's like tangible. Okay. A goal is something that's like a target, something that you can aim at, something that you can achieve or like cross off your list. Okay. Now, a mentor of mine, Earl Nightingale, he says that a person without a goal is like a ship without a rudder. Now, if you think about it, a ship without a rudder, okay, is just going to do one of two things. Okay. It's probably going to drift aimlessly at sea with no purpose, no direction, no destination, okay, no goal. Okay. And eventually, a ship without a rudder that's just drifting aimlessly at sea is going to do one of two things. It's going to get lost at sea or wrecked on the rocks, don't you think? Yeah. Now here, if you don't have a specific goal, okay, don't worry about it. Like I said, most people don't have a specific goal, but we're going to take a little bit of time and we're going to do that tonight. Okay. So a tool that I've used with clients in the past to help create a little bit of a structure and order, organization around goal setting is a tool called SMART goals. Okay. Just by a show of hands here, who here is familiar with the term SMART goals? Anybody? A couple people, maybe. Okay, great. Well, SMART goals is it's an acronym. Okay, SMART. okay? SMART. It's an acronym, and the S stands for specific, all right? Specific. And ideally, a good goal would be specific. And I say that because they say that vague goals produce vague results. Vague goals produce vague results. My mentor, he says this all the time. He says, well, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it with amazing accuracy every time. And I think that's really accurate, really true. Okay. The M stands for measurable. Okay. Measurable. Now, ideally, you like to have some sort of a number or a metric associated with it so that you know at a glance whether you're winning or losing, okay? Whether you're moving closer towards your goal or further from it, okay? You should be able to tell at a glance whether you're making progress or whether you're drifting, okay? So ideally, there should be some sort of a metric or a number. You know, when people say things like, well, I just want to be happier, it's like, all right, but I get that, but happiness is pretty difficult to measure. You know what I mean? So the A stands for action-oriented, okay? Action-oriented, or some people say attainable. But ideally, it should be something that you can achieve, okay? Either by adopting some new and more empowering habit, or by letting go of a habit or a behavior that's maybe not serving you anymore, okay? But by your behavior, it should be something that you can achieve, okay? By either starting a new habit or letting go of an old habit. Right? The R stands for realistic or relevant. Now, I got to be honest with you here, guys, okay? Personally speaking, I think that the best goals should sound completely unrealistic when you first hear them, okay? And like I've seen so many clients do such unbelievable things that defy logic that I don't even know what those words mean anymore, okay? And I'm not even saying that to be cute or try to be cheeky or anything like that. Like I don't even know what the words logical or realistic or rational mean anymore, okay? Personally, I think that those words are words that people use to justify their own self-imposed limitations and allow themselves to continue to play small. Okay. In fact, I have a sign on my wall here that one of my clients made up for me, and it says, forget logical, be legendary. Okay. Forget logical, be legendary. And that's hanging up there as a reminder to me, but also to the people that I work with to dream big. Okay. To dream big, and don't be afraid to dream big. All right. So take that one with a grain of salt. Right. Now the T, okay, stands for time frame. Okay. And ideally, there should be some sort of a deadline or a time frame associated with your goal. Right. And the reason is because of a little thing called Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law. And Parkinson's law is a psychological phenomenon that states that a task will expand or contract to fit the time allotted for it, okay? And if you think about it, like if you had company coming over this weekend and you had to clean up your house, you know, it might take you the better part of like 3 days to do it. Like if you had 3 days to do it, probably just chip away at it and you get it done in time for the weekend. But if for whatever reason they called up and they're showing up early and they're going to be here in 3 hours, well, chances are, you know, you're going to light a fire under your butt and it's going to cause you to get all of that work done within 3 hours, won't it? Now, it might not be perfect, but you're probably going to get a lot more of it accomplished in 3 hours than if you had just settled on the fact that it's going to take you 3 days. Okay. So ideally, there would be some sort of a timeline associated with it. Now, yeah, people spend their whole lives thinking and dreaming about a life with more money, better health and fitness, okay, more free time and things like that. But very rarely do people take even 5 minutes to sit down and write down a goal with pen and paper, okay? So we're going to do that tonight, all right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes right now to write down a specific goal, okay, with a deadline, and see if it's something that you can get to fit within the parameters of this SMART goal or this acronym, okay? So I'll give you guys a few minutes to do this right now. Not always an easy task, is it? You know, it's funny. I've had the opportunity to ask people these types of questions a lot, you know, and sometimes I'll ask, you know, like, what do you want? You know, and I'm amazed at how many people struggle to come up with an answer for that. You'd think that by the time you got to be our age, that you'd have a very clear idea of what it is that you want, what it is that you're working towards, where it is that you're going. One of my favorite lines is by Mark Twain. Most of you guys are probably familiar with Mark Twain, but Mark Twain once famously said that I can show anybody how to achieve anything that they want. The only problem is I can't find anybody who knows what they want. You know, and that was written back in the 1800s. And I just think, wow, not a lot's changed, Mark. You know, not always an easy task. Well, let me ask you, would anybody care to share? Were you able to come up with a goal or a tangible, a target of what you'd like to accomplish or achieve? Not everybody all at once here. Okay, Mitch, right on.
Okay. It's super hard coming up with a goal, realizing I don't have goals. But I want to double my income in the next 12 months. So measurable. I make 100 grand. I want to make 200 grand in the next 12 months.
Right on, in the next 12 months. Cool. I love it. Right on, Mitch. Thanks, Mitch.
Thanks, man.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I want to be able to quit working outside in the freezing cold by the time I'm 50 and start a new career and a new path in life, and maybe even next year or even the year after, depending on how things go.
Okay, a new career path, looking at doing something different, get you in and out from the cold.
Yes.
Okay, right on. I love it. And you got a deadline there. You said by the time that you're 50.
Yeah, I got another 3 years to go, but in a few months I'll be 48. So I got 2 years to go.
Okay, right on. Awesome. Thanks, Desmond.
Thank you.
Yeah, Linda.
Well, Matt, you know how much I wanted to move out of my house.
Right.
We made a list when I was with you here in Saskatoon,
Right.
and it wasn't even on list in terms of trying to create money. So now I find myself at a point that I need to, because I've been retired. All of you youngsters, not yet 50, listen, don't become collectors. I've learned. Anyways, I need to prepare for moving. At the absolute latest, it would be before May 2025, because then my interest will on my loan will increase. So I am thinking in terms of going next spring. So I'm trying to downsize, and that's my goal, is to figure out what I would take with me, and what I'm going to leave behind, or sell, or donate. And it's measurable, because I do have to do it certainly by 2025, but I would rather do it next spring. And that's downsizing, choosing what I want, and where I want to live, and hoping that it's available, because trying to find rental is not easy, and downsizing is not easy. So my action is trying to do a bit of that each day, because I am really struggling with it. So
Okay.
there's a goal, but I'm working on it. I'm making progress.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, you know what I'd like to do, Linda? That's connected. Like a couple thoughts come to mind here that I'd like to share with you. Maybe either later this week or early next week. How does that sound?
Okay. That sounds good.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks, Linda. Thank you. Amy, do you care to share, or were you able to come up with a goal? You don't have to. I don't want to put you on the spot or anything.
No. I really liked the forget logical, be legendary. And yeah, it's funny thinking about changing career paths, or like making a change in career. But then I'm thinking, why am I limiting myself to, my goal is like very limiting. So I mean, it's also not super specific. So I just need to work on this more. But it's like, I want to make more and do something that makes me feel really happy, and more present with my family when I'm here. And so that kind of looks like maybe like a whole complete change in career paths too. So
Interesting. Okay.
Desmond, I'm kind of like, I heard you and I'm like, yeah, okay, I maybe want that too.
Interesting. Well,
But then I got stuck on the A.
on the A. Okay. Well, here, I want to share a couple of thoughts with you here, Amy, and for everybody for that matter. Okay. But just to reiterate that point that I was making earlier, is that this is not an easy task. Okay. In fact, it's actually very difficult and requires some thought. Okay. But one thing that I've observed in the past is that most people, what they do, the problem is not that we aim too high and miss. The problem is that we have a tendency as human beings to aim too low and hit. Okay. And one thing that I've observed in working with clients is that most people are in the habit of shrinking their goals to match their current mindset and their current skill set, rather than improving their mindset and improving their skill set to match what it is that they'd actually love to do. And that kind of goes back to that whole adage that I was saying, that like, using words like rational to justify their own self-imposed limitations. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not easy to do. Okay. But hey, I want to give each of you guys a little bit, or like maybe you guys should give yourself a little one of these, a pat on the back. One, for showing up here tonight. Okay. And two, for taking a little bit of time to think about and write down a specific goal. Maybe, does that mean that you don't need to put any more work towards it, or it won't require a little bit more thought? Well, probably not. It's a work in progress, isn't it? But the fact that you did that, I think you should be proud of yourself for. Okay. So success habit number 2, or now that we've done that and written down a goal or made a little bit of progress towards that, success habit number 2, okay, is the most successful people are in the habit of having organized plans in writing. Organized plans in writing. Okay. Organized plans in writing. My mentor, he always says to me, he says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Okay. And, I can't tell you how true that is. All right. Now, sometimes, and now here's the thing, okay? Sometimes our goals can feel kind of overwhelming. You know what I mean? It can feel like pretty big and maybe even like leave you with that sense of like, I don't even know where to start. Okay. But I'll tell you, if you can just think of like 3 to 5 things that you could do, hypothetically speaking, that might move you towards that goal that you wrote down. Okay. That would be the next step. Okay. To write down 3 to 5 things that just hypothetically speaking, you could do. Okay. I'm not saying you need to, I'm not asking you to commit to doing it, but I want you guys to take a couple of minutes right now and just brainstorm. Ask yourself, what are 3 to 5 things that I could do, hypothetically speaking, to start to move towards that goal? Okay. Is that reach out to this person? Is that purchase this course? Is it sign up for this? Is it, buy this product or service? Or, I can't tell you how important and valuable it is sometimes just to take a time out from the busy pace of life to like sit and ask yourself some of these questions and just allow yourself to brainstorm. I don't know if you guys are anything like me, man. Sometimes it feels like life's coming at you at like 100 miles an hour. You know what I mean? And, sometimes just asking yourself these questions and being able to think can be very revealing. Okay. So here's the thing, okay? Ideally, if you came up with a couple of things, 3 to 5 things that you could do, hypothetically speaking, okay? The next step would be to consider adding those things to your schedule or to your calendar, okay? Maybe even looking at like plugging it right into your phone and adding like a notification or an alarm or a reminder to do those things or those specific tasks. The reason I say that is that like your calendar is actually one of the best personal development tools that you own. And the reason is because once something gets scheduled, well, then it gets done. You know what I mean? And if you're anything like me, like there's a whole bunch of things that I could be doing or maybe should be doing, but unless I carve out that time, things just don't get done. Okay. Now, the other reason I say that is because they say that, a dream written down becomes a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan, and a plan backed by action becomes reality. I'll say this again because I just love it, but a dream written down becomes a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan, and a plan that's backed by action becomes reality. Okay. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't even need to be the perfect plan. Okay. It doesn't even need to be the perfect one. In fact, there's probably no way that you could predict all of the steps and all of the things that would be required in order for you to achieve your goal. That's just not realistic, or it's not likely anyway. Okay. In fact, I think that one of the things that will happen though is that as you set a specific goal, okay, you will actually begin to attract all of the things that you need for the fulfillment of that goal. All right. You will begin to attract the ideas, the opportunities, the inspiration, the chance encounters, the synchronicities, okay, the introductions, sometimes even the people and that sort of thing will come into your life. You will begin to attract all of the things that you need for the fulfillment of your goal. Okay. Now, hear me out here. There's a part of your brain that's called the reticular activating system. Okay. Now, you don't have to remember that, but people call it your RAS for short. Okay. There's a part of your brain called your reticular activating system, or your RAS for short. And that's the part of your brain that's responsible for filtering out information and bringing things to your conscious awareness, bringing your attention to things. Okay. Now, just by a show of hands here, who has ever purchased a new pair of shoes or purchased a vehicle, and then you're out around town and you see that vehicle everywhere? Has that ever happened to you? Yeah, of course. It's happened to all of us, right? Well, that's your RAS in action. Okay. And once you set a specific goal, okay, your brain, your mind will go to work for you to start to alert your attention to things that are related to that goal. And it's a little bit like, it's easy to see a blue car when you're thinking blue car, blue car, blue car, right? Well, it's easy to see opportunity when you're thinking opportunity, 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 opportunity. Okay. Now, the other thing that having organized plans in writing will do, okay, is you'll start to see kind of how these pieces will come together. And you'll start to think, well, you know, maybe if I could just do that, and if I could just do that, and I could just do that, well, maybe I could pull this off. Maybe there's a chance. And what that will do is it'll start to build your confidence. Okay. It'll start to build your belief. You know what I mean? Okay. And that's success habit number 3. Okay. Success habit number 3 is belief. Okay. And the world's most successful people, they believe that they're capable and deserving of their goal. They believe that they're capable and deserving of their goal. Now, they also believe that even if they don't know necessarily how to do it just yet, they believe that they're capable of figuring it out. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you, that belief is everything. Okay? That belief is everything. And the reason I say that is because in this life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you believe you deserve. That's the truth. And one thing that I've observed in my years of doing this type of work is that, you know, a lot of people, they don't really truly feel like they believe they deserve their goal. You know, a lot of times, you know, they don't believe that they're worthy or capable of achieving it. Now, it could sound like any number of things, but some of the most common things that I hear from clients are things like, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Okay. I don't have enough education. I don't have enough experience. Maybe I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I'm too young. I'm too old. Okay. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. Whatever it is. Those are some of the most common ones, though. It's not limited to that, but just be honest here, guys. Out of curiosity, does any of that resonate? Any part of that kind of like strike a chord? A little bit, yeah. Eh? You know, the truth is, I think that that's really common. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong here. Like, when I talk to these people, like consciously, they would love to achieve their goal. Okay. They want to earn more. They want to do more, whatever it might be. But deep down inside, there's a part of them that doesn't really believe that it's possible for them. Okay. Now, this is really interesting. You know, the mind is a fascinating and powerful thing. Okay. And I'll sometimes ask people, you know, like, who here, just by a show of hands here, who here is aware that they're in possession of a human mind? You guys know you have a mind? Yeah? Okay, great. Yeah, I always get some weird looks and some chuckles, and people are like, who is this joker? You know, weird question, I know. Okay. But then I'll follow it up with, I'll ask a question. I'll say, well, how much do you really know about your own mind? How much do you know about your mind? You know, and that's usually when I start to get a couple, you know, people think about it and they wonder and they realize, well, maybe I don't know as much about my mind as I should. And I just think that that's fascinating. The reason is because, like, you can go through like 12 plus years of formal education and come out the other side knowing very little about yourself or your own mind. Okay. And now hear me out here. We are in possession of one of the most advanced pieces of biological technology known to mankind. And most people don't know what to do with it. They don't know much about it. Okay. Well, we just ordered a kid's toy for my son. He just turned 8, but we ordered a drone from China that came a while ago. Okay. And when this thing arrived, it had 97 pages worth of a user's manual. Okay. Like troubleshooting, a to-do list, a checklist, all this, like if this, then that, and that sort of thing. A user's manual for a kid's toy. And I thought, man, wouldn't it be nice to have like a little book told us a little bit more about ourself and our mind? Wild, right? Now, sometimes I'll ask people too, and I'm always interested to hear kind of, you know, how much control do you think you have over your mind? How much control do you think you have over your mind? So, you know, like throw it in the chat here, or what's your best guess? You know, is it 20%? Is it 50%? Is it 70%? Or are you locked and loaded? You got 100%, you're dialed in. Desmond, were you going to say something? No, that's okay. No. All right, Desmond says 50%. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. What's your best guess? If you guys had to put it in a percentage, like 25%, 50%, how much control do you have over your mind? Mitch says 30%. Maybe some days better than others. Hey, Mitch? Amy says, me personally, about 25%. Okay, cool. Linda, what about you? How much control you think you have? Okay, Desmond says 60. Okay, right on. I like that. Oh, Linda, you're muted there, my friend.
There, is that better? I'd like to say 50%, but I don't always follow through and with what's in my mind to my appointment with myself. So it's probably less.
Okay, all right. So we got a varying degree of answers there. Okay, some said, you know, 25, 30, some as much as 60, you know, awesome. Well, I'm going to see if I can draw something here for you guys. I just got the newest upgrade or the update for Zoom, and they changed everything on me here. So bear with me. Can you guys see this okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, thumbs up if you can see it. Beautiful. Okay, this is a diagram that was invented by a man named Dr. Thurman Fleet. Okay, and this was originally invented back in the 1930s to demonstrate the human mind. Okay, now psychologists will tell us that the human mind consists of 2 parts. Okay, we have our conscious mind, right? And we also have what? Well, we have our subconscious, right?
Subconscious.
Right. Now, you guys are probably familiar with those terms, okay? And our conscious mind is sometimes referred to as your thinking mind, okay? Or your reasoning mind, or even sometimes your logical mind, okay? This is like your educated mind, the part of your mind that you go to school for, that you read books for, that you kind of fill with all kinds of facts and figures and data and information, okay? Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, okay, is referred to as your feeling mind, or in some cases, your emotional mind, all right? Now, kind of a basic psychological premise here is that your thoughts, okay, control your feelings and your emotions, okay? That's why, like, when you have a happy thought, you typically have a corresponding happy emotion. Am I right? Right. Okay. Well, our feelings then go on to influence the actions that we're taking, or in some cases, not taking. Okay. And depending upon the actions that we're taking, it's going to give us a result in life. Would you guys agree? Okay. So, logic would hold that, if you wanted a different result in life, okay, you just need to do one thing, and you need to go back and you need to change your thoughts. Okay. It kind of has this domino effect, right? It changes your feelings, which influences your actions, which changes the result that you get. Okay. There's this whole adage that when you change your thoughts, you change your life. And it's true. Okay. And this is why it's true. All right. The challenge, however, is that the average person has about 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Okay, 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Man, that mind, it just never stops going, does it? Right. Now here's the thing, okay? Of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts, most of them are three things, okay? Most of the thoughts that you think are repetitive, okay? Meaning that about 95% of the thoughts that you had today are the same thoughts that you had yesterday and the day before that and the day before that and the day before that. The truth is that we have a pattern of thinking that repeats over and over and over and over again. Okay. The other thing is that most of our thoughts are negative. Statistically speaking, about 80% of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts that you have in a day are negative. Now, whether you're willing to admit that to yourself or not, it's up for debate. But the truth is that, most people, caught up in worry, doubt, complaining, criticizing, things of that nature. And that's not a criticism, but it's helpful to know. Okay. And lastly, of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts, most of them are unconscious. Meaning most of the time, we're not even necessarily aware of what we're thinking at any given point. Right? In fact, and this is fascinating, I think this is amazing, okay? Psychology tells us that our conscious thinking mind actually only equates for about 5% of what we do, okay? Crazy, isn't it? 5% due to our logical thinking, reasoning mind, all right? Now, sometimes people will say things like, well, knowledge is power. You guys ever hear that? Knowledge is power. Back when I was in university, I had a professor that first taught me that. And I thought that was so cool. I wanted to get that like printed on a t-shirt and stuff. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. Knowledge is only potential power, right? Knowledge is only powerful when it's applied, right? And the truth is that there's usually a very big difference between what people know and what people do, isn't there? 100%, or at least there can be. Do you guys want to know why that is? You guys want to know? I'll tell you. Okay. It's because we're not logical creatures. That's the truth. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. We love to think that we are, don't we? Okay. But the truth is, we're not as logical as we believe. In fact, we're biological, and most of our decisions are made emotionally based on how we're feeling in the moment. That's the truth. In fact, psychology tells us that your subconscious mind accounts for about 95 to 98% of what you do. Remember, your subconscious mind is your emotional mind. Okay. Accounts for about 95 to 98% of what you do. Shocking, isn't it? Like, isn't that crazy? Kind of scary when you really think about it. But here's the thing, like, just by a show of hands here, who would agree that they're a creature of habit? Anybody? Yeah, right. Well, most people, okay? Well, here's the thing. It makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because most of our behavior is habitual, okay? And most of our habits are unconscious. Most of our behavior is habitual, and most of our habits are unconscious, okay? So in fact, right down here, this is where our habits live, okay? This is also where our beliefs live, okay? This is also where our fear, our doubt, our insecurities live, all right? But there's also a little something called a paradigm. Paradigm. Now, each of us has a paradigm, okay? Now, a paradigm, you can think of it as like a belief system, okay? Or like a framework for how you see the world, all right? And it's a multitude of habits that are fixed in your subconscious mind, all right? And a large part of your paradigm is what's called your self-image. Your self-image, okay? And your self-image is exactly what it sounds like. Here, I'm going to write this down too. Your self-image is exactly what it sounds like, okay? It's your perceptions of yourself, okay? It's your views of yourself, but it's also your beliefs about the kind of person that you think that you are, kind of who you believe yourself to be. But it's also what you think you're capable of, what you believe you're deserving of, okay? And also what you think you're not, or where your limitations lie, okay? And if you guys have that pen and paper handy, I want you to write this down, okay? You cannot outperform your self-image. You cannot outperform your self-image, okay? The reason I say that is because one of the strongest forces in human nature is this desire to remain consistent with who we believe ourselves to be. Okay, I'm going to say that again because this is really powerful. One of the strongest forces in human nature is the desire to remain consistent with who we believe ourselves to be. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Your self-image, it operates exactly like a thermostat. Okay. Now, if you think about it, your thermostat that you have probably in your room right now, okay, is set to a specific temperature, isn't it? It is likely about 21 degrees Celsius, okay? And what happens is, okay, the temperature of the room, it might fluctuate a little bit up and down and up and down and up and down, okay? But that thermostat is set to that set point to ensure that you remain, or the temperature of the room remains consistently in this kind of like band of comfort. You know what I mean? AKA your comfort zone, all right? And your self-image operates exactly the same way. And your results on the outside might fluctuate a little bit up and down and up and down and up and down. But your self-image operates to continue to keep you kind of in this band of comfort, or your comfort zone. That's why, like, if you guys have ever heard of anybody who tries to lose a little bit of weight, what happens? Well, they usually put it all back on again, don't they? Right. Maybe some of you guys might even be familiar with that statistic about people who win the lottery. Okay. Statistically speaking, about 70% of people who win the lottery end up filing for bankruptcy within 3 years. And you think, what? That's crazy. How is that possible? And the truth is, what happens is their outside results, okay, or their bank account no longer reflect their internal beliefs about who they think they are. And they find a way to self-sabotage and revert back to their old patterns, their old habits, and ensure that they continue to get the same old results. Who here has ever heard the term self-sabotage before? Right. I hesitate to ask, but anybody here ever guilty of self-sabotage? Right. Yeah. And this is why, okay? Now, here's the thing, okay? Unless you change this right here, okay, your subconscious habits, create a paradigm shift and change your self-image, okay, any progress or any changes that you make on the outside will not last. And we will always find a way to self-sabotage and revert back to old patterns and old habits, okay? I wish that wasn't the case, but that's true, all right? Now, hear me out here. There are only two specific ways to create a paradigm shift or change your self-image, okay? Only two. And if you guys have that pen and paper handy, I would highly suggest that you write this down, okay? Number one, okay, is what's called a strong emotional impact. A strong emotional impact. The truth is that this is usually like a crisis of some sort, okay? It's usually, maybe it's some sort of a rock bottom, or maybe it's like a health scare. But typically what happens is things get so bad that it's like, now it has to change. Okay. Now, the thing with that is, one, it's usually negative. And two, it's usually outside of your control. Your back's kind of up against the wall. Okay. The second way to create a paradigm shift or to change your self-image is what's called repetition of thought combined with elite level coaching. Repetition of thought combined with elite level coaching. Repetition of thought. Repetition of thought. Okay. Now that actually brings me to success habit number 4. Okay. Success habit number 4. Oh, Desmond needs a second. Yeah, no problem. Repetition of thought. Okay. Now, success habit number 4 is accountability. All right. Accountability. The truth is that the world's most successful people are in the habit of either finding or creating an environment that's conducive to the fulfillment of their goals. Okay. The world's most successful people are in the habit of either finding or creating an environment that is conducive to the fulfillment of their goals. And let me tell you, you cannot overstate the importance of your environment. Okay. Who here, just by a show of hands here, who here has ever heard the phrase that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with? You guys hear that before? Right. Well, it's true. And the reason that's true is because we all unconsciously start to take on the qualities and the characteristics of the people that we spend the most time with. Okay. And if you want to be achieving big goals, you got to spend time with people and hang around with people who are achieving big goals. Okay. And when you start to surround yourself with, the thinkers and the dreamers, the doers, the movers and the shakers, and the people who are taking inspired action and making big changes and, taking, big moves, making things happen, it's easy to get caught up in that kind of energy, isn't it? That kind of energy is contagious. You know what I mean? And the truth is that every single change or transformation I've ever made has always come with the support and the accountability of a coach, a mentor, or an accountability partner of some sort. Okay. In fact, statistically speaking, people who invest in coaching end up achieving their goals 5 times faster than people who try to do it on their own. Okay. Part of the reason is that you're 800% more likely to follow through on something when you're accountable to another person. I don't know about you guys, but I can be pretty good at kind of rationalizing and justifying just about anything. You know, I always say that, you know, we can get pretty good at selling ourselves on our own brand of BS. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, there's actually a study that was done a number of years ago that I found fascinating. This is done by Dr. Gail Matthews. Okay. And she took a group of people and she broke them up into 4 distinct categories. Okay. And the first group, they just thought about their goals. They just thought about it. And they successfully achieved their goals about 42% of the time. Now, if you think about it, like 42%, that's not good. That's not great. Like you got a better chance of calling a coin toss. You know what I mean? And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm talking about my goals, I'd like my likelihood of success to be better than the toss of a coin. Okay. So the second group of people, they thought about their goals and they wrote them down with pen and paper. And let me tell you guys, you know, I don't know who makes these pens, but I think that when they do, they put a little bit of magic in them. Okay. And the reason I say that is because, like, you know, writing is a sacred act. What you write down has a tendency to become your reality. And just that act of writing down your goal with pen and paper significantly increases your likelihood of success. Okay. Now, the third group of people, they thought about their goals, they wrote it down with pen and paper, and they had it up on the wall where they reviewed it regularly. On the wall, on the mirror, on their desk, or somewhere where they thought about it, they read it, they engaged with it, and it reminded them of what they're doing. Okay. And the fourth group of people, they thought about their goals, wrote it down, reviewed it regularly, and had a coach, an accountability partner, or a mentor that they reported to on a weekly basis. And that group of people, unsurprisingly, successfully achieved their goals about 92% of the time. Okay. 92% of the time. So way better, drastically better than people who just thought about their goals. Okay. Now, I offer a couple of programs, okay, a couple of coaching programs that are based on 3 distinct things. Okay. The first is what I would call applied psychology. So it's understanding your mindset, understanding how your mind works in relationship to your goal, and making sure that your mind is working for you, not against you. Okay. The second part is strategy. So it's not all just theory. It's about like where the rubber meets the road and creating an action plan for how to get from where you are to where you want to go. Okay. And then the third part is so important, and that's the accountability. Okay. Because the truth is that we all have a tendency to drift and let ourselves off the hook, don't we? 100%, you know. So if any of that, what I said tonight resonated with you guys, okay, or you'd like to explore the idea of having the support and the accountability of a coach, I encourage you to reach out and book a free 10-minute call, okay? No pressure, no strings attached, and just see if it's a good fit, okay? But either way, okay, tonight, the conversation, the things we talked about tonight, okay, and the 4 success habits, okay, have clearly defined goals. Okay. And the fact that you guys wrote down a specific goal with pen and paper, again, I think you guys should give yourself a ton of credit for doing that. Okay. The second one is to have organized plans in writing, right? Write down a couple of steps that you could take, hypothetically speaking, to start to move you towards that. I always say that opportunity favors forward momentum. I'm going to say that again. Opportunity favors forward momentum. And that's the truth. And there's a famous philosopher, an ancient philosopher named Rumi. Okay, and Rumi said that as you walk, the path will appear. And what I've learned is that once you start to move towards your goal, you know, you'll begin to attract all the things that you need for the fulfillment of that. Okay. Number 3 was believe, believe, believe. Okay. Napoleon Hill, who's the author of Think and Grow Rich, okay, which is widely regarded as the best personal development book of all time, sold over 200 million copies since it was originally written in 1937. Napoleon Hill said that anything that the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. All right, anything, not just the little things, not just the medium things, anything that the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Okay. And then the fourth one is the accountability. Okay. whatever you do, surround yourself with the people who are going to have high standards and a low tolerance for BS. Okay. You know, find yourself a coach, a mentor, an accountability partner. It doesn't even need to be me. Okay. But find somebody who's going to hold you to doing the things that you say that you want to do. Because if you guys are anything like me, I'm just too good at letting myself off the hook. Right. Now, lastly here, I want to assure you guys that whatever you wrote down tonight, okay, it is possible for you. Okay. It is possible if you have the desire and if you have the commitment. Okay. Now, I said at the beginning that I had a little secret that I was going to share with you. And I want to remind you guys that I always get a little bit choked up here, but I want to remind you guys that if there's something that's on your mind or on your heart that you've been thinking about wanting to do or achieve or become, okay, the time is now. Okay. Like, there's like 300,000 people that die each and every day. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see is that people make the mistake of thinking that we have more time. The truth is we don't. Okay. So I always say, be patient with yourself, but act with urgency. Okay. Stop waiting, stop wishing, and start doing. Because the days turn into weeks, and the weeks turn into months, and the months turn into years. And the older I get, the faster time goes. Okay. So whatever it is, stop waiting, stop wishing, start doing. All right. Lastly, I want to give you guys a big congratulations for taking time out of your busy schedule, investing your time and your energy into you and your goals and your future. Each of you guys deserve a little one of these tonight. So I appreciate you guys being here, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. All right. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of the night, and talk soon.